Can you hear me now? Yes, now we can hear me. Okay, great. So we're having some problem with Facebook streaming. So we are streaming on YouTube. Can you hear me now? Oops. Yes, now we can hear me. Okay, great. So we're having some problem with. There we go. I was double. Is that better? We're having some technical issues today. So I would like, before we start, to hear what kinds of businesses you're running. Just type it in the chat so we can see who's in the house and what kind of pivoting everybody's doing in this times of change. I want to switch from talking about times of crisis to times of opportunities, because this is what we're leaning into, is that what is possible right now in the current situation. So go ahead and type in the chat what types of businesses you're running right now. And we're gonna wait a few more minutes to start right at the top of the hour. And we have Sharon and Jerry and Diane, Rob. And if you can turn on your camera, that would be great. I'm gonna turn off, close my door here so we can get started. Great. Interior design, moving from some services to online. Great. Wonderful. Security guard contractor, Rob. Where in the world are you, Rob? Are you in the US or somewhere else? Lisa, I'm assuming you're in the US. Network to support families and children. Stephanie, yes, I know of your amazing project. We have Tom. Lisa's from Texas. Rob is USA. Noreen, hello everybody. Hello, Noreen.
Hello, how are you?
Good, good, good.
I'm in New York.
You're in New York, great. So we're gonna get started in just a little bit, right about 6:03. But today, the conversation today is a little different than what we had last week. For those that were here for the challenge, today we're going to actually focus on 6 specific areas of your business, and how do we translate those from in-person to online. So we're really going to focus about specific areas of your business. Pablo is in Buenos Aires running real estate project remotely for now. Great. Let me see here. Great. If you have a camera, turn it on so we can see each other's faces, and just see who's here. I'm gonna wait 2 more minutes before we get started and hit the recording. Gabriel from Mexico. Great. I know, Gabriel, you're on the phone, so it's hard to type on the phone. I get it. Hi, Jerry. Welcome, Suzanne, Rex. Welcome, Rex, again. That's great. Okay, so we are going to get started in just a minute. There are kind of reactions you can use, like Rex just used the thumbs up. So use those throughout the presentation. Make sure to put any questions in the chat. As I said, today is a little different from what we did last week, because today I'm going to actually run through a presentation with a slide deck. And so what I want us to do is we're going to get all muted. And if you have questions, type them on the chat and I will do a Q&A at the end. So if you have reactions to things I'm saying, you can use a little reaction button. Here's the thing, I feel really lonely on this side. So if you chat or react, actually helps me keep on going. And also it makes me understand what people are tracking and where you're seeing a reaction. And it helps me kind of get deeper on some of the topics. So are we ready to go? Let's test our reactions. Click on the reaction button. Yay, thank you, Gabriel. Awesome. Thank you, I love that. And my team, if you can just take pictures as we go along, or some screenshots of some of the stuff. And if you have a camera, turn it on. We would love to see you. Okay, let me get the recording started. By the way, I'm gonna start recording. And let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let me just pull this up, get here. Ready to go. Can everybody see my screen? Do like the thumbs up if you can. Great. And I'm going to grab the chat. Let me see if I can grab the chat. Hold on, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen, grab the chat. I'm gonna open it here so I can actually read it. And we're gonna go back to sharing the screen. Okay. And we're gonna move you guys over here. Perfect. So welcome to today's webinar. Last week, we ran a challenge where we talked about 5 ways to pivot your business. By the way, Laura, give me a thumbs up if you see that it's recording. So last week, we had open conversations about pivoting. We talked about finding opportunities. We talked about transferring your opportunities, problems into opportunities, and what does that look like as you're launching a virtual business? Well, today I want to give you some concrete tools, and we're going to use a handout that I shared in the email, which all of you have, and you can see my screen, and I'm going to share it in the slide deck. But we're going to talk about different parts of your business and how they translate online. So probably many of you are feeling a little bit like this. There's kind of a big, well, we're social distancing. So we are either like Noreen in New York City. I can't imagine what New York looks like these days. You're probably stuck in your home, not able to go anywhere. Some of you are isolated, alone, or with your families. And all of us are feeling disconnected from our marketplace. And for many of us, from the way we earn money, from the way we generate resources for our families. So it can be really scary. And you might be having questions from when are we going to get out of our houses? And again, in this group of people, there's people from all over the world. And all of us are pretty much, probably for the first time in history, we have a common denominator trauma or situation. We are all living through the same reality. And we all kind of have common denominator questions from what will the world look like once this is over? When will this be over? And how will my work be impacted once we get out of this situation? And we're going to be talking about all of those things in a conversation today. Many of you are probably feeling a little bit like this and seeing, okay, I know technology. And Noreen is like, yeah. No, not at all. Okay. Type in the chat, Noreen. I want to see what you're thinking. But some of you are thinking, okay, either I am getting overworked because I'm trying to figure everything out in like 2 minutes, or B, I'm just trying to figure out how to move forward. And C is like, how do I do the work I used to do in a new way and fast? Noreen says it's not that bad. I've been ready for change all my life. I love that. I felt like that I would be dead. This is an opportunity to create. Yes, I love that attitude and I love that mindset. Because the truth is, if we are on this call, it's because you're an entrepreneur. And entrepreneurs are designed and wired to solve problems. So if you thought the world had problems a month ago, well, today we have 10 times, a 10x of problems. So if there are 10x of problems in the world, that means there's 10 times the opportunities. And what we're going to talk about is how do we switch this perspective of, oh my God, all the problems in the world to, oh my God, how many opportunities can I explore and which one is the right one for me? And that's what we're going to focus on. Because we are now feeling like whatever goals we had, they're off the table. We're not accomplishing any of those goals. Actually, today is Monday. I was supposed to be on a beautiful vacation in Tel Aviv today. My kids and I were supposed to fly last Friday. We have been thinking and planning about that trip for years. And it truly breaks my heart to feel that I'm here. So the truth is, this presentation, this opportunity that I'm going to present today did not exist 2 weeks ago because I was on vacation this week. But here I am realizing that this world needs some insight. And with my team, we went through an exercise, which I'm going to share with you in just a minute. And we looked at what are our opportunities. because I believe that even in a disconnected world, we can be connected. We are being connected right now. And I also believe that you can trade your insight, your brilliance, your skill set, your work for money in a virtual world, in a world where we cannot exchange dollars hand by hand because it could be dangerous to our lives, but we can use online tools and techniques to continue the exchange of value, my service, my brilliance in exchange of monetary and financial value. And I believe we can achieve all of our goals. We just need to shift our strategy and we need to pivot. Again, keep chatting whatever questions you might have. On Friday last week, we left it at this worksheet that I handed out, and I did send it on the emails today, and I will send it on the follow-up video here. So if you did not get this, just put in the chat and my team, Laura, will put it on the chat so everybody can download it, or don't worry about it, you can download it later. But this is kind of the blueprint, what I call the idea blueprint, is what we use here at Masters in Clarity to guide our thought process and create a plan of action. Today, we're going to focus on a couple of elements of this blueprint. We're going to focus on message and our core message. And we're going to focus on some other layers of this blueprint. But first, I want to share with you, why do I come to this work, and how does Masters in Clarity come to fit into the conversation we're going to have today? I've been actually working remotely since 1998. And I'm going to date myself. I'm 47 years old. But in 1996, I graduated from university in Argentina. That's where I'm from. And my graduating thesis was marketing on the internet, relationship marketing. Back in 1996, I was already exploring what would be the impact of the internet on our traditional marketing. And when I say marketing, I translate marketing in, how do I let the world know that I and my work exist? That truly is marketing. And here's a metaphor I always use. If you're planning a party, a birthday party, let's say it, for yourself or for your spouse, and you go all out and you plan your food and you get the house ready, but you never send an invitation to anybody. The day comes and you have more food and you did all this work and investment and nobody ever comes. You failed to market your birthday party. That is what marketing is letting the world know that you're here for a purpose, and that if that purpose matches what they need, then they should call you. And so I've been studying that since 1996, and I've been studying that from the perspective of how do we do that on the internet since then. In the last many years of my career, I've worked for nonprofits like Nifty. I've been a mentor and a judge for Startup Weeks and E4All, which are entrepreneur communities. I started multiple businesses, including a clothing company, a software company, which is Why Not Apps, Masters in Clarity, and I've also been a TEDx organizer. So the truth is, Masters in Clarity is a compilation of all these years of work, and they come together to teach what I call ideapreneurs. So you guys in this call today are ideapreneurs. You have an idea and you want to have an impact with your idea in the marketplace. So that said, let's get into our work. As we shift into what I call a virtual business, and by the way, guys, here's what I'm thinking. I don't believe that when we get out of this situation, we'll only have virtual businesses. But I do believe that if you focus right now on pivoting online, when we get out of the situation, you will have a business with two clear streams of revenue that may or may not be combined, that you may or may not discontinue one, but you may for now and forever have a parallel live stream of revenue that they will come together in one way or another, or run as parallel projects. So far so good. Give me a thumbs up if you're tracking. Love that. Thank you so much. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is your virtual message. Now, I'm doing virtual message because I'm trying to be cute with this word virtual, but the truth is your message. And your message has changed because whatever you were offering or selling to the market a month ago, you probably had to change it. And give me a thumbs up if that is true for you. You might not have changed what you sell or what service you offer, but you probably are changing how you talk about it. And so that is kind of what we need to explore as we pivot our business, is how has our virtual message changed? I'm going to share a quick strategy that I use for helping people clarify their message. And this is something that is not new. I didn't come up with it 2 weeks ago when COVID-19 hit. I actually have been teaching this for almost 6 years. This is actually something that I discovered when I was learning how to coach my speakers for the TEDx that I organized. For 3 years, I ran one of the largest TEDx events in the East Coast, with about 500 people in attendance and about 15 or 16 speakers during the day. And one of the things I learned is that one of the most challenging things that entrepreneurs, speakers, authors have is how to communicate their core idea or their core message. Every time we interviewed speakers, I would ask this question and I would say, what is the idea behind your work? And they proceeded to give me an 20-minute or more explanation of all the work that they've done for years. Now, if you know anything about the TED stage, it's about 18-minute talks. So if the answer to the question, what is the essence of your work, takes you 20 minutes, you can pretty much know that it's going to take a lot longer to deliver a talk. So whether you are virtually or in person, but specifically virtual because the attention span is so short, you want to lead with a very clear statement of your value proposition. And I call it the 2 actions so that outcome statement. So here, what we need to figure out is, and I always go from the back, reverse engineer it, in that outcome is the solution that you provide. So today, the outcome is you're going to walk away from this with this webinar understanding core elements of running a virtual business. And the action is to look at business and virtual business from a different lens. So what we're talking about is like to help entrepreneurs pivot so that they can run a virtual business in as short as 6 weeks. So the outcome is what everybody's looking for. You actually don't care how you do it. How many of you, raise your hand, if you've ever done like a fitness program or a weight loss program? And especially if something that you struggle with for a while, you get to a point that if you find a resource that is well recommended and they promise that you will get fit in 10 weeks, you actually don't care how you're going to do it. You're just going to follow the instructions, right? You're just going to do whatever they tell you to do, because if you know they're going to give you the results, you're just going to do it. People are in that frame of mind. I believe that we all walk around the world with these antennas in our head. And these antennas are tuned to the problems that we have. And so the more you lead with that problem in your communication, the more connections you're going to have with your market, and the more you're going to deepen that conversation. Because wherever you are sharing your message, let's say social media, and there's many platforms, and we can talk about that later, which one is right for you, is that all you need is someone to notice that you are in business to solve their problem, for them to say, let's connect, or tell me more, or where can I learn from you? One of the things I always teach, and I'm going to show that, well, I'll skip and I'll share that in just a minute. I'm going to pause for 1 second and read the chat. Any questions or thoughts or comments on this? And Noreen says, I help people win by own your voice, speak your truth, and live life your way. I love that. So you help people win by owning, standing up for who they are. I love that. So to summarize, in virtual message, when we are speaking or communicating online, we want, as in person, but online even more, we want to be very clear on the solution that we provide. And secondary, we want to be clear on how we do that. But first is, what do we solve? Second part of this conversation is the concept of virtual sales and marketing. As I shared a few minutes ago, I started this journey in 1996 with a with my graduating project being on how do we do marketing on the internet. And the title of that project, of that paper, was Marketing on the Internet, Relationship Marketing. I actually do not talk about sales funnels when I teach marketing. I talk about trust funnels, because I believe that the relationships that we have with the people that we encounter online, and I can see Yvonne on this chat, that Yvonne has been a few of the conversations we had last week, and you can nod your head, Yvonne, if this is true for you, but the truth is you and I have never met in person. We actually have never had a one-on-one conversation. We had some group conversations, but not one-on-one. But nevertheless, you've followed a little journey of a post or a something, and then a webinar, and you trust enough whatever I've put out there to be here today. Is that true? And so in an organic way, we have built a relationship based on trust, where I provide information about my work. She trusts it and wants some more. I'm just using you as an example. Thank you for playing, Yvonne. So this is how I teach, because I believe that when we build relationships, online or offline, but online, it makes it more important, it's truly is how do we use the technology to replicate a human kind of relationship that we will build in the real, in an in-person world. And it's pretty much like dating. And is that you have to build a relationship where we go on a first, second, third, and fourth date. If we continue this metaphor, Yvonne and I are on our what, third date, fourth date? We've met a few times. And I see so many times online, people putting stuff out and saying, buy my product, buy my product, buy my product. I don't know who you are. Why would I buy your product? I don't trust you yet. You haven't given me a reason for me to really want to go into that deep of a relationship with you. I don't know that many people, other than my husband, that commits to proposing to someone on the first date. That's another story. He actually circled on his calendar the day he was going to propose, the first day we met, before we had even had a conversation. But I always argue that, what was he thinking? Like, that's crazy. Who would do that, right? But it's been 22 years. We have 4 children. You know, it didn't go that bad. But in marketing and in business, please don't propose marriage on the first date. It typically does not work. So the question is, okay, so how do we do this online? How do we connect? How do we deepen our relationships when we can never meet in person? A lot of people, maybe some of you are in this room right now. Oh, hold on. Noreen says, I've had your stuff come across my email for 1,000,000 years. Oh, Noreen, so good to see you now. You have been consistent, and I have never created that time to engage with consistency. Thank you. And I'm actually going to go back, because thank you for that, Noreen, because here's the thing about marketing and building trust and building relationship. Trust is a consequence of safety and consistency and cohesiveness. We trust the people that show up in our life in a consistent way, period of time, and in a cohesive way. Oh, today I will sell, I don't know, rainbows, and tomorrow I'm going to sell cars, and tomorrow, but you should trust me because I know exactly what I'm doing, right? So you kind of need those elements to build the trust. So thank you, Noreen, for sharing that in the chat. That was super helpful. So how do we connect in a consistent, authentic, and engaging way? So there's a couple of tools out there, and these are just connecting tools like Zoom, what we're using right now, and there are others. But the truth is, there has to be a combination of non-live engagement, like a post. You write a post, you put a pretty picture, you put it out there, and some in-person moments where you actually are able to have a conversation. Last week, we spent 5 days in conversation. There was no formal anything. I offered my insights and we had conversations, but I didn't really formally taught anything. Today, I'm teaching something, but we had that kind of mix of formal moments and informal moments of connection. Email marketing, the importance of a newsletter. How many of you have tried newsletters and thought to yourself, who the heck is reading these? Well, I've done that for years. And I remember about a year and a half into this business where I would send a newsletter every single week, some weeks thinking, who the heck, other than my mom, she always read them and she always commented, but who other than my mother actually reads this? And then one day I went to one of my children's sporting events at school. It was a lacrosse game. And I'm watching the game and there's a mom standing next to me and she started talking and she said, you know what? I don't think I'm your ideal client. I don't think I'll ever actually hire you because I don't think it's, I'm the target market, but somehow I get your emails every week. And I look forward to your emails and you inspire me every time. And so it was an amazing comment because that day I realized that even though people don't always give you feedback, people do actually appreciate it. And Noreen is nodding because she obviously has gotten my emails for many years or a long time. And I never knew Noreen, other than she's in my list, I never met her. But now, she's confirming that consistency works. So there are a couple of elements in our marketing online that might not be linear or clear results, meaning knowing that we do this, we get this. There's a lot of things online that we do this and we hope one day we get this. And that's just part of the game. And so when we become strategic about it, we know exactly what are the actions we decide to take. And it's kind of a mix of actions. And that those consistent mix of actions consistently bring you to the results you want. But it's a process of building that strategy. Make sense? Keep on going. The open rate might suck, but people are reading them. Following, I'm sharing, says Narim. Awesome, great. Okay, so then let's talk about if you are pivoting from your current business to a different type of business, then let's talk about what does an online business or virtual business model look like. Now, I'm going to get a little geeky here, but stay with me because what we're going to talk about is what I call my simple triangle business model. This is what we teach all the time. And this is about how do I need to create products and how do I offer them so that I can scale my business and make best use of resources like time and my team. And so this simple model has 4 elements. The number one element you see here, and you might not have paid attention, but the number one element is what is at the center. And you guys can type it in the chat. What's written in the center? Type it in the chat. I want to see who's picking that up. And I know Noreen is ready to chat or anybody else. Proprietary system. Thank you, Tom. Exactly. For us to have an online business and scale that business without and allow us to sleep and have weekends, what we want is a proprietary system. A proprietary system is basically your recipe. And we're not going to get too deep into this. I get deep into this when I'm coaching, but for now, I just want you to know that once you have a proprietary system, which means you know exactly the steps you need to take for your clients to have results. Once you have that clear, you can move from the yellow part of the triangle, which many of you, if you're starting your business or in the early years, you're on the one-on-one model, right? So you can expand from the yellow to the pinkish to the orange because you now have a proprietary system and you can create different elements that will support the experience, but the learning and the success path of your participants is really clear and predictable. You can almost guarantee predictable results. As long as the clients go through the process and do the work, they will get the results that you want them to have. Make sense? And so that's why in the simple business model, once you have the proprietary system, you can expand from one-to-one to one to a few. And there's a trick there that I teach on hybrid. And I'll tell more about that later. And then the one-to-many, which is so popular right now. Here's the problem. Most people say, okay, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to go from, I don't like private coaching or private anything. So I'm going to go and I'm going to launch this product, no followers, no list. And I'm going to just go from 1 to thousands of members in my product. Well, it doesn't work that way, especially not if you haven't done it before or you don't have a proprietary system. So that's why it's important to start from the process of the yellow and on. And then people go from the yellow and say, okay, now I don't want to do coaching one-on-one. I'm going to go to thousands of membership, right? The concept of membership. It doesn't work that way either. You got to have the capacity to expand your reach if you have a list. But if you are still growing and expanding, you go from the yellow to the pink. And that's kind of the golden space for expansion in your business. Okay, next. Now, in order to have this model work, we need a virtual product. So we're going to talk about what does a product look like. And I'm going to focus more, not so much in the building of the product, because that's a whole process, but I'm going to talk about how do you deliver products online. Because the goal here, let me just drink. Someone put something in the chat while I drink a little bit of water. Maybe you can put a question. Or Laura, you can put a question. So when we talk about virtual products, we build the products based on our proprietary system. And so in order to house the proprietary systems, you want different tools. Now, these are just some tools that I pulled up. We actually use something called Simplero, which works really well because it's a very integrated platform. But there's many options right now in the market to host your proprietary system. But here's a tip that you probably did not know. That if you currently are in some kind of startup mode or low budget mode of your business, you could actually run your whole proprietary system on Facebook for free, using Facebook groups and using the element of units in your Facebook group to organize your content. Put clap if this is new to you and you might want to try it. I want to see your reaction if you guys knew about that. That is actually with my clients, I encourage them if they haven't done a proprietary system or a one-to-many product yet, I actually ask them to do it on Facebook first and keep it kind of low key until they figure out the whole process, and then they invest in higher level platforms. Bye, Tom. I'll see you later. The other part of a proprietary an online product is how do you collaborate with your customers? Whether you're building strategy, you're teaching something, or you're coaching, or you're advising in any way, whether you're a lawyer or an accountant, it is really important to have a system to keep your content and your back and forth collaboration in an organized and simple way where people can collaborate live. So we use Google Docs, you can use Dropbox, there's other platforms there, but it's important to create a system for efficient co-creation, which is what you're doing with your clients. Next is how do you get paid? Many of you know this, but just in case, I wanted to put it here. Here's just a few options: PayPal, Stripe, Square. If you're not in the US, there's different rules and there's different options. But one of the things that is important as you go into virtual businesses is you have to kind of visualize what is called the customer journey or the customer experience. So if you were running, if you had a store and people walked in, they looked at the product, they tried on the clothes, they paid you with their credit card or cash, and then they left, you kind of have to walk through that whole process and ask yourself, how am I going to replicate this online? Okay, next, we're going to talk about virtual speaking. Now, we're all stuck in our house. We cannot leave. One of the fastest and best ways to grow your business is through virtual speaking. And virtual speaking is, in some ways, what I'm doing right now. I'm speaking, but this is my stage, meaning I invited you guys to come to my Zoom. you are people that are following me or in my newsletter, or were attracted by some kind of campaign that we did online. Kind of, I not only was a speaker, but I also filled the room. Now, when you're growing your business, you want to be the speaker in rooms that are filled by other people, because that way, A, is a lot easier, and B, you
Okay.
actually, and B, you're
Yes, I'm here.
actually, Laura, can you mute? Hold on. Or Rob, can you mute yourself, please? There you go.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let me just do this. There you go. So when you are growing your business, you want to go to present in other people's stages and add value to the audience, of course. But that way you actually get to be or get to present to audiences that you may or may not be able to access otherwise. Okay. Noreen says you have to give yourself time to learn all these programs. It takes time. Yes, absolutely. And we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. Okay. And now we're going to go deeper into the sixth part of this presentation, which is virtual systems. It's almost impossible to say that you want to run a virtual business without translating some of the ways you work into virtual systems. There's just some things you must integrate, because otherwise you will run out of time to do all this work. But luckily, there's a lot of systems out there. Most of them are free and allow you to make the decisions and make the processes super efficient and super productive. So let's talk about just some of them. Time tracking. If you run a team, you must have, and you used to have people come into the office, you see their face, it's easy, or they had a time machine or something. Now that everybody's home, you never know who's doing what and when. So time tracking is something that we use at Masters in Clarity, not just to know if someone is working or not, but mostly to get clear on how much time does it take to fulfill each task. So we do a lot of done for you services in Masters in Clarity. We build learning platforms, and we actually write books for our clients. We have a lot of projects that we built. So it's important for us to know, okay, this client, how much time did it take to fulfill that service? So something like Tracking Time or Nexonia are a great resource. Second, whether you want to communicate with your team or with your clients, depending on the relationship you have with your clients and the kind of work that you do, you want to integrate something like Slack or Blink or Workplace, and there are other. Microsoft Teams has a great platform as well. This is so that you can move away from your chat, from your text, and keep all of the conversations organized and in one place where you can track them and follow through. Okay. Next, project management. How many of you have so many projects going on, you don't know even, and you build a Google Doc or a spreadsheet for each project, and then try to go and find that Google Doc with all the notes? And so you really want to have a project management tool. We use Asana, but any of these work great. And this is a great way to collaborate among your team and really have everybody on the same page with all of the information, the photos, the images, all the processes integrated into one thread of a project. And last but not least on the systems, and this is critical. And I'll share a quick story about this. So years ago, when I first started, before I had a team, one of the things that frustrated me the most was the back and forth that I would do with anybody, whether it was a prospect client or someone I wanted to get to know, the back and forth of, hey, do you want to talk on Tuesday at 2? Well, no, I really can do 2:30. Well, I can't do 2:30. What about Wednesday at 3? And it would be like 15 back and forth just to find 15 minutes of conversation. So back then, I found a tool, which I can't remember right now, but it was an artificial intelligence app that was an artificial intelligence assistant. And so I had this assistant called Amy, and she was a robot, and she would read my emails, and in the email I had to put some keywords like, hey, Amy, can you please schedule, I don't know, Lisa into an appointment for this day or that day? And Amy will actually capture that and respond to Lisa, like if she was a person, and just say, hey, Lisa, I'm happy to help you find time with Dolores. She will read my calendar, give some options. It was amazing because people would have like back and forth with Amy. And then they will hop on the call and said, oh my God, where did you find your assistant? She was so polite, so quick to respond. She was a robot and it was an algorithm. And it was so easy to schedule an appointment. So I stopped using it a few years ago because my calendar became a little bit more complex and the communications became more complex. But for a first start of an assistant, it was an amazing tool and it was free or maybe $5 a month. It was a no-brainer. Now I've moved on from that and I use Calendly right now. And these are just some tools out there, but this is a no-brainer because if you are taking time to set appointments, even if you don't have clients yet and you're starting a business and you're trying to connect with a vendor or a networking, having Calendly is a must because otherwise you're going to spend most of your time just chasing people to get an appointment on the books. Okay. So I believe that we can run virtual businesses effectively, efficiently, and probably with great pleasure and serving people at a highest level. And so I want you to think about what is possible if you can serve and what is possible if you can exchange money for your billions. And so I want to pause 1 second here and take any questions that you might have. Just post it in the chat because now I'm going to shift the conversation in this presentation and I'm going to offer you an opportunity. So Noreen says she uses Acuity and Keep, which used to be Infusionsoft. Those are great tools. Any questions that anybody wants to ask right now? And so I want to talk about what it takes to run a business online. I want to talk about your virtual business program. When COVID-19 hit, well, it hit in Asia longer than here, but when it started coming to the US and we became lockdowns began early February, early March, I sat down with my team and I said, how can we help? And the first thing we did is we sat down for a week, we recorded videos, and we compiled a whole set of tools to run our business virtually. And what we did is we sent it out into the marketplace at a cost of $2 a month for anybody that needed it, because I felt that that first week, everybody went into panic mode and I wanted to do something to help. Well, so that process and that project, which at the beginning, people just went and gravitated to these tools and they've been using it since then. I've refined that program and now I've created it in such a way that I can help people launch or pivot into a virtual business in just 6 weeks. If you're already running a virtual business, then this program is going to help you turn up the volume and systematize everything so that you can expand in your business model. So whether you're just starting, pivoting an existing business, or turning up the volume, this program is going to help you get all of the systems in place so that you can scale rapidly. We're going to tackle week by week each one of these layers: virtual message, virtual business model, virtual sales and marketing, virtual product, virtual systems, and virtual speaking. And for each one of them, I'm going to go deep into how do you shift to virtual. And we're going to teach you through online, our proprietary system, through an online platform. But every single week, we're going to have an opportunity to meet in person. We're going to have live Zooms where I will be making myself available to listen to your questions, help you think through. We're going to use the Zoom room. We're going to use the breakout rooms. We're going to work in pairs. My team is going to be involved. And the goal is that week by week, you will master each section of your business so that by week 6, you are confidently running a virtual business. And I've been doing this for a few years. Here's just some nice things one of my clients, had to say a few years ago. about the work that we do, specifically the way that we do helping people clarify. And I also, this is Elizabeth, who I worked with a while ago. Her case study was she was having a great business, but she wanted to scale and grow. And so what we did with her is we revisited her business model so she could scale rapidly. So I want to invite you to join your virtual business program. And this program is typically priced at $597. And we're only charging, and Laura's typing in the chat the link so you can take action. We're only going to charge $297 for the 6-week program. Laura, go ahead and put in the chat the link. And just move this here. So, but here's one thing I want to share. There is more to this. For the people who take action within the next 24 hours, not only will we include a free ticket to the June 2020 workshop, which, oh, puppy's in the room, Yvonne, I can see him. We not only will share a ticket for the June 2020 workshop, which may or may not be in person, who knows, probably will be virtual, but also it will include one private session with my team so that you actually can sit down with someone in my team and work through wherever you have stuck. So Laura has put the link in the chat. And again, this bonus is only available for those that take action right away. So my question to you is, how can you serve and make money while doing so and growing your business in these times of crisis? So I really invite you to take action right now, and we're going to open the room for Q&A and a conversation. So everybody's here. Let's just open up the conversation for Q&A. You can unmute. I'm going to put unmute.
That's why.
So unmute yourself if you want to talk. Questions? I have Mary, I have Sandy. Good to see you again, Sandy.
I made it.
Oh, Sandy, share with us, how has a conversation that we've had so far helped you in your business? Because I know that they have.
Well, it's I think so far it's given me some inspiration to keep going, and I was able to, although I haven't talked with her directly yet. Thank you, Michelle. Was able to connect me with Eileen, which after this call I'm going to try to get back to her. It's we're just trying to come up with how we get through all this, and you've provided a lot of different tools, of which I know some of them might be important to try to move towards. It's right now it's just hard. It's a hard period because I think our clients are everybody's afraid. They're holding back. They don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend money. We're just waiting. Everybody's sort of waiting and hoping. And
yeah.
So
but one of the things
I feel like you've given me some hope for sure.
Thank you, Sandy. And as Noreen said at the beginning, I mean, we've gone from freeze, what's going on, to, okay, let's just reshuffle and see what's happening. And I think the world is shifting to the mindset right now of, okay, we need to adapt and we need to keep on going, and it's time to take action. So what we are offering today in this webinar is the opportunity for you not to stay stuck. Is the opportunity for you to come into our community and work with us so that in 6 weeks, my commitment to you is that you will recover your investment by the time we're done with the program. That you will recover the investment by the time you have 6 weeks under your belt, because you have taken action to pivot and rethink how you do business so that you can solve more people's problems in a virtual way. And that's the opportunity that I have for you. Questions, other thoughts? Mary, so good to see you. You've worked with me before. Okay, hold on. Unmute yourself, Mary. There you go.
Good to see you as well. I was wondering if I might see a few of my classmates.
Not that many on this call, not today.
Well, I can attest to Dolores's strength in teaching because I took quite a lengthy class with her and I met really the most wonderful people. And I'm sorry I haven't been able to get back. It's just
Yeah.
kind of was a busy, rough winter, but
It's good to see you.
good to see you as well.
Yeah, yeah. So the opportunity is here for you guys to join us. And if you want to ask anything about how we run our programs or what kinds of outcomes our clients get, just let me know. We are starting this program, just so you know, on Monday, April 27th. And all the calls will be recorded and they will be hosted every Friday for 6 weeks. Again, we are meeting with you live, solving your problems. Everybody that takes action in the next 24 hours will have a private meeting with my team in implementing the solutions that we are presenting week by week. So I know some of you have already taken action. I'm already getting my phone. It's kind of beeping. Here's one thing that I don't typically do, but I will do in this case, is that we're only having this opportunity offered this week. And then once we close the card, what we call close enrollment, we will not be opening this program for the foreseeable future. I don't know when I'm going to open it again. We're going to run it for 6 weeks, and depends on the demand and the state of the world, this program may stay or may pivot to the new world. But right now, I know you need this program to pivot your business and run a virtual business, a virtual company. I know, Ernie, I hope you're joining us because I think you can change the lives of so many children by bringing your content and your product online. Are you coming on board? Yay! I love Ernie. And now you're already running Zoom and really kind of charging for it. So some money's coming in. You just have to turn up the volume.
Right.
I'm so excited to work with you, Ernie. So excited.
Great. Me too.
Great, Deborah. Good to see you here too. So we have about 10 more minutes in this call today. This is our last opportunity to chat, and then everybody, I will see you when we open the program on the 27th. So if you guys want to ask me anything, you have me for the next 10 minutes.
I'd like to just say thank you. I've been receiving your information now for, I don't know, forever. And I've never had time to really engage with it. I mean, I see it, and it's like for me, when people send me a newsletter and they're consistent, it's like my reticular activator sees it as I scroll through. I see it, I read a title, and I keep it moving. And that's what I found that people do with mine. They see it, they read a title, and they either keep it moving or they engage with it. And so I just want to share a scenario. I've been running since the COVID-19 has started. I've been running a group that's called Let's Keep Our Spirits Up. It's just a conversation to help people vent, where they can just share whatever they want to share. We do a gratitude, and we do, you have to tell one joke, right? Because we need some levity. We need people to express, we need people to get into gratitude, and we need people to do levity. And so I've been doing that on Zoom, and it's now turned into like where people are asking me to, can they work with me? And that wasn't a game that I was playing. It was just like giving, because I needed it as much as they needed it.
Yep.
But people, going back to the newsletter, so I have people that have joined that group that have been on my newsletter for 10 years, 14 years. I met them at an event, or you know how you meet people, you engage with them because it's follow-up. That's how you build your list. And it's quite shocking. I mean, it's quite wonderful, And then it's also, I'll go out in New York and people will be like, Noreen, And I'd be like, have we met? Because I do a lot of networking. Have we met? And they're like, no, I met you X amount of time before, and I received your newsletter, and I still get your newsletter today. So in light of doing newsletters, yes, it might seem like it's archaic, but people are reading our newsletters.
Yeah.
People recognize consistency.
Yeah.
Right. And they like, and we do become a part of their, you're a part of my consistency.
Yeah.
It comes in like every week, you know, if I literally, if I should Google search your name, the whole ream of newsletters will come up. Right.
Yeah.
So even though business is simple, it's not easy. Right. But the key is consistency is what I found.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to say that everything that you brought up there, like, you know, what softwares to use, what Candly and all these things, I've been doing those things for a number of years, and I've gone on and used different things. But I think that business is an opportunity to constantly reinvent yourself, create people, because we can't stay the same way. We are constantly in the growth space. And one of the things I always say to my clients is love what you do.
Yeah.
Love what you do, because if you don't love what you do and you're just doing it for the money, you're not going to stay. Yeah. But if you're doing it as a service to provide, oh my God, the world becomes your oyster.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Noreen. I know, Suzanne, you wanted to raise your hand, so unmute yourself and you can turn on the camera if you want. Go ahead. We can hear you. Yes, go ahead. Suzanne?
Yes?
Yeah, go ahead. You raised your hand.
No, I didn't actually. Sorry, that was by accident. So.
Okay, now your microphone. Do you want to share something?
Yeah, well, my business is definitely going to be, it's going to be kaput until next year, until June. I'm a New York City tour guide. I do private customized tours. Yeah. So I definitely will have to shift towards the virtual tours, and this would definitely be something that would be very, very, lucrative, I think, for myself, because I have clients that come in from Europe, and the minute they couldn't come in, obviously, you know, I lost all my business, and that will not pick up this year.
Yeah. And I think I was, interestingly enough, I just finished, I was all day in an event today from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. It was an all-day virtual event where there were about 100 and something people that stayed for the whole day. And it was all about virtual events and virtual large events. And they were sharing about, you know how you go to these big events where they enroll you in programs?
Yes.
And they were sharing about how this company had done this event, and they usually have 300 people in the room. They sell the program, they make some money. Well, because it was virtual, they were able to bring a lot more people, like thousands of people, and they sold 10 times more than they typically sell in a regular event. So for you, Suzanne, as a concierge meeting planner, you could be bringing, like, let's say you could market your knowledge of travel to, I don't know, to an event and say, okay, I'm going to provide a virtual by photo experience and then tell you about all of these fantastic places. So there's a million ways where we can think about, how do I replicate the experience that you gave your clients in a different way? And so, I don't know, it's just about looking at the world and saying, what can I create? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and I mean, and I see a lot of interest from my customers. I mean, they're telling me they really want to come to New York as soon as possible. So if that won't be possible for a time because of our social distancing and because, of course, of travel, then I'm sure they would love to do virtual tours. I mean, by virtual tours.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Mary, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I really missed the crux. I came in pretty late. I was just wondering if you can send me a little summary of what the course is going to include. I mean, from that I listened to so far, it sounds interesting.
Yeah, and I will share my screen quickly. I'll share with you right now, guys. So this course is very specific. We're going to work together for 6 weeks. We're going to tackle these 6 areas of our business, and we are going to meet weekly. It's let me just open the chat as well. We're going to meet every single week for an hour or more on a live conversation like this, but having you done homework or an assignment for the week. So every Monday, you're going to get an assignment, and every Friday, we're going to hop on the call and see what part of the assignment did you complete, where do you have questions. The goal is that you work through the week, and by Friday, you have some part of the assignment completed, and you ask whatever questions you may have. Of course, we're supported by our online community, so you're not alone. You can ask questions throughout the whole week, and we will be on the chat in Facebook helping you along the way. And so we typically, and you've been in our programs, Mary, you know we charge a lot more for our programs, but because of COVID-19, we're charging $297 for the whole 6 weeks. And what I'm offering as a bonus, and you've been to my workshops, Mary, and it might be virtual this year, but you have a free ticket to the June event, which that event alone is $497. And on top of that, you're going to have a private 1-hour session with our team, so that you can actually sit with someone and have them look at what you've built and where you might need some help. So it's pretty straightforward. 6 weeks, 6 layers of your company, your virtual business up and running. And the link is on the chat. And again, the bonus of the ticket and the private session is only up for the next 24 hours. And we will close the doors to this event at the end of the week. And we will start together on Monday, April 27th. This is a program for right now, for you guys to take action and not let this opportunity go to waste, because we are living in a crisis. Every crisis is an opportunity. Some of the biggest companies in the world were born when everything else failed. Yep. This is where the most opportunities happen.
In 1930, with the big crash, most of the companies that we have, and the robber barons, I call them robber barons, of the time, that's when they started their businesses. That's when businesses that were on wheelbarrows or barrows became like, building with consistency, became like multi-million, billion-dollar companies. And that's when we had people like Carnegie and Wallace and Waddles, and all these various different people were born out of a time of need, and they saw that they had these gifts and talents to share. So it really is, I don't think we can make mistakes. The mistake is not trying. I think the mistake is having a mistake and seeing it as a mistake and learning from that mistake. That's again where opportunities are.
Yeah, but I agree, Noreen. The mistake right now is not taking action. Any action is better than non-action.
Yeah.
Ernie.
Shoot, there we are. I just wanted to just presence for everybody and for myself that I, just did the Zoom at noon with teenagers, teaching emotional intelligence and mental health to teenagers all over the country. The amount of schools, school districts, colleges, universities that are in desperate need of what I provide, it just kind of blows me away. Like, I've been doing it for my Facebook friends' kids, and I'm already overwhelmed with that number. And so I'm just super excited to formulate something that I can sell to school districts, colleges, and universities all over the country. And the thought of that is like blowing my mind right now.
What is it that you do?
I'm an inspirational empowerment comedian. I've been doing comedy for over 20 years, but I teach mental health awareness through comedy.
Right.
And leadership development workshops and mental health workshops and all of that stuff. And students profoundly trust me and open their hearts and souls to me, which I think that's the magic sauce that a lot of people don't have.
So, Arnie, I'm looking forward to helping you do this. I know the world needs you. We're gonna close the Zoom now. I have thoroughly enjoyed each one of you that have joined our Zoom
Dolores?
calls. Yes, Sandy.
I just wanted to ask you if you could, because I'm sorry, I was tied up with a emergency client tonight. Could you email me the links and the presentation? Or I know that it'll be on Facebook, but I don't know if I could swing it right now, but I'd like to see what I could do to stay involved with you.
Absolutely. We will send you, absolutely, as we did last week, we'll send you the recording, the link to join. We will send you reminders throughout the week. We will annoy you with the opportunity because here, I'm going to share something. The first time I ever joined an online program was in 2014. And I was sitting in a room where they made the offer, and the offer was $10,000 up front or $1,000 a month. And I said to myself, I don't have that money. And I couldn't even ask my husband for that money. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to look at my bank account. If I have $1,000, I will say yes. Can you freaking believe that I had $1,010 in my bank account? And I'm like, oh no, but I said yes. And that day was the day that I said, okay, every month I need to bring in at least $1,000 because I have this commitment. Not only did I bring $1,000 every month, it grew. And if I had not done that investment that day in 2014, I know I would not be here. And I will be forever grateful for that, my first coach. I no longer work with her, but she is in my heart for the rest of my life because she showed me a way I just didn't even know was possible. So sometimes the investment might scare you, but you have to think about it. If I do this, I will do the work to double this in 6 weeks. And that's the invitation that I'm giving you. And that's the commitment to yourself that I'm offering you to make. And so I will remind you of this opportunity until we close cards, not because I want to know you, not because I need you to join, because you need you to join, because the world needs you to join, because the world needs you to take action and grow your business and serve more people. You don't have to work with me, but find the help you need to grow your business. I'm just an option. If you trust my work, you can join me. But if it's not me, find someone that supports you in growing your business. And that's what I truly, truly kind of request from you. Do not stay still, take action. So
Thank you.
That's my invitation to all of you. I truly loved being with you for the last week. And whether we work now or later, stay connected. Love everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Please wash your hands and stay healthy. Bye. And take action. Bye. Well, washing your hands.